Guys, I have great news. Israel is eliminated from the World Baseball
Let's
Classic.
go!
Probably the greatest.
The evil is defeated.
Probably the greatest graphic to come out of this whole thing is the graphic of Israel eliminated. I don't know if you guys have seen that graphic.
Do you know?
I haven't.
I have, but
Post
do
it
you
for
know
the
who?
boys in Discord?
Drewski, what was that?
Do you know who beat Israel right before the tournament?
Who was the eliminator?
Who beat Israel before the tournament?
The Mets, baby.
The Mets? Oh my god.
Oh.
Thank you, Mets. Thank you, Mets.
Be
sure to thank the Mets, guys. Don't forget to thank the Mets.
True heroes.
Let's go, Mets.
Yeah, I don't know who was. I don't know what they were thinking with that graphic. I think it is the funniest graphic I've seen in a while. Funniest sports graphic I've seen in a while.
I mean, like, look, to be fair, they did one for every team that got eliminated. Like, not like it was just.
Oh yeah, of course. But still, I just find it funny.
Extremely funny.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it for the cold open. That's pretty much what I wanted to do for the cold open was talking about the L that they took. But welcome to the Untitled Furry Baseball Podcast. My name's Argo. Go to the Yosh next. We once again did not do the order. Yosh next.
Hello, I'm Yosh. I'm Drewski. That's me.
And I'm Solis the Wolf. I don't know enough the World Baseball Classic to really make a good top 5 clearly.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Hold on. Because I think Drewski had the best top 5 out of everybody.
Yes.
In that.
Yeah. I'd have to listen back. I think I may have neglected. I think it slipped my mind, but I don't remember if I said the Dominicans or not because they are absolutely okay.
I put them
left them out by mistake. Then I'm clearly not thinking straight that day because the Dominicans are they are probably the most stacked team in this tournament. They are just blowing everyone out in their path. Like Korea is a respectable team, and they blew them out 10-0, and they mercy ruled them.
Yeah. Finally, meanwhile, the US 7 innings. Oof.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that in the quarterfinal.
USA. I mean, it's just. I mean, they're gonna have karma coming the way. I feel like for Cal Raleigh not shaking his teammates' hands before the game.
I want to get into that after we talk about the previous results. I have some opinions on that.
Yeah.
that might be spicy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a blow up run. I mean, the Dominican Republic though is just they're at this point out of everyone left. I mean, I could picture Italy pulling some bullshit at this point and going all the way, but they got to be my pick. I hate to say it, but I think they're going to blow the U.S. out tomorrow.
Wait, the Dominican or Italy?
The Dominicans are going to blow out the U.S. Yeah, because Italy is going to play the winner of Japan, Venezuela, which more than likely is going to be Japan, but you never know.
But single elimination baseball is rough. It's if you're just not on it, and if the baseball gods don't, instead of those. What was it like that comeback where you hit the ball down the line and it kicks off a base and suddenly what was a pretty easy out was now a single. It flips on you and puts you in bad situations and suddenly Japan loses. It could happen. The betting money's not on that happening, but that's the guy. Single elimination baseball is tough that way.
The Untitled Furry Baseball Podcast does not condone sports gambling.
I think that reason is also part of why I'm glad they went with the wild card series now. Because like you said, I mean, single elimination baseball is rough, I mean, to play 162 games and I mean, before, under the old format where you still had tiebreaker games, game 163, some teams played 163 games just to get eliminated after one game of the postseason. And I mean, I don't think it was always, Well, I don't always think the better team is meant to advance in the postseason. I think making it at least a best of 3 is the way to go with that. But, I mean,
I'm
obviously,
always for
they're
more
not going to
baseball.
do that for. Yeah, I'm so with you.
But baseball being such a feast and famine streaky game, I think it goes for almost all sports, but it always seems like baseball. Whoever's hot and coming out of the the freaking split. Oh god, what's the middle called? The All-Star break. All-Star break. I could not think of it for a second there. My brain. Whoa. Coming out of the All-Star break, whoever's heating up in September going into October, that's the team you have to worry about, because you can have, unfortunately, Mets. You can have an incredibly powerful, strong half for the Mets and implode and not have a team by the end of it. And that's just the beauty of baseball.
I thank you so much for reminding me of that.
That is evil.
You message me every time the Mets have beat us in the spring training. I deserve it because I started it.
That's very much deserved.
That means I could still bring up last year. We need you to get this regular season started because you can put that behind you finally.
I'm ready. I mean, I know we're mainly talking about the WBC tonight, but I really want to shout out David Stearns and the incredible job he did this offseason. There were some very specific areas that they had to improve in. They had to improve in clutch hitting. They had to improve their rotation, and they got guys that are going to help with both of those things. So, not going to guarantee a World Series win or anything, but I think this team is better set up for not only making the postseason this year, but going on a deep run. So,
hell yeah.
As unfortunate as it is to reminisce on what happened last year, it is good to use that as motivation and look forward to this year.
And going back to the World Baseball Classic, one thing I wanted to bring up was, because we were talking about our predictions and how Drewski really, really cooked with his. Picking Italy in your top 5?
I do need to point out that I did not put the Dominicans, and no clue what I was thinking right there. But it really, really should have. They really should have been in my top 5, because they are dominating everyone. I mean, they as of today, they have their spot in the semifinal. They just completely blew out Korea, a respectable team in Korea,
for sure,
to move on to the semifinal, 10-0 in 7. I mean, I know we don't condone sports gambling, but if I were a betting man, I would be putting my money on the Dominicans to win the whole thing.
I can definitely agree with that. I think I had them at 3rd in my top 5. But I have, there's no reason that they can't win it all. I think I really hope Italy also takes a win and gets into the finals. That'd be cinema.
I mean, Italy going all the way would be extremely funny.
I look at it this way, as somebody who is probably the least familiar with the WBC. I mean, obviously, you got to rep the USA. Always got to rep USA. So, yes, it looks like the Dominican is going to, with how they've been playing, should beat the pants off the USA, or at least not make it too close. But the beauty of baseball and the beauty of the USA is our team is pretty stacked too. So you never know. It's definitely one of those, again, who shows up and who's hot. If you're hitting 3 dingers in a game, the USA could easily pull out of this, And I was just to kind of look into this is, the pool play and how this is all set up. The top 2 teams of each pool go on, and I don't want to say I'm shocked, but I guess I kind of expected Mexico to be up there, and for them to get eliminated by Italy themselves, which, funny enough, I definitely want to talk about how Italy called out the USA and was like, "Hey, we beat you, and then we saved you by taking out Mexico," which allowed the USA to sneak into the bracket. Yes, the quarterfinal bracket play. That's crazy. And, they're sitting at a 4-0 record, and so is Japan and the Dominican. So, out of those 3 teams, that's crazy.
I also am in agreement with Drewski. I think that Dominican Republic's going to destroy the U.S. The last 2 games from the U.S. against the Canada one, which I mean they did win 5-3. I would have expected them to win by more in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just getting beat by Italy hard for the first half of the game does not give me any confidence. I've seen a lot of flack online about the management of this team. Mm-hmm. They just did not take they went into the Italy game basically feeling like that they had already clinched making it to the quarterfinals. Like
it wasn't even like we're confident we're going to clinch. It's like they Mark DeRosa went on air earlier that day and was acting like they had already clinched their spot in the next round, which is insane. Also, Andy Pettit admitted the other day that he had not done any like research on Dominican pitching at all.
Oh, he's fucked.
Which is just crazy.
Oh, they're fucked.
Yeah, that's not good.
Mean, like, look, I get it. I get it. I mean, it's not the World Series, and to American baseball players, they're not accustomed to an international tournament being the biggest tournament they could win. And that's, obviously the opposite for a lot of these guys that are from the Dominican Republic or on Puerto Rico or on Japan, where, they take a lot more pride in representing their country than representing the team they play for in Major League Baseball. So but like it's just come across that the Team USA doesn't care. Like they don't care at all about this tournament. They've already had several guys that went back to their teams to get ready for the season, which I can kind of respect, but at the same time, like,
Team
if
USA is supposed to
be
the best of the Team USA of the like major leagues basically, and to see them kind of cut in the middle, it's kind of like if you're not going to commit, don't be there. You kind of thing,
right. Right.
So I agree with that. Sorry. I was gonna say that Italy beating the USA that badly was something that could actually be beneficial to the USA team because obviously they thought they had it in the bag. And it's just like having a team like in football where you go like 17-0. You kind of want to lose one to kind of humble yourself because you don't want to feel invincible, go into the playoffs and then find yourself not sure how to deal with the adversity of loss, or again. And I think I was hopefully it sounds like they didn't learn from it, because if they're still not looking into Dominican pitching, and that's like the next game tomorrow, which we're recording on Saturday, so this will be on Sunday the 15th, they'll be playing the Dominican. Like that sucks. That definitely points out Team USA doesn't seem like they want to win exactly. Whereas, getting beat by Italy is a humbling moment. It is one of those, it should be that, hey guys, we can't let that happen again. Like, holy crap. What are we doing here?
I don't think they really got that kick in the ass though from this. I still think they just don't really care, because if you look at the immediately following game, US only won by 2 against Canada, who they should have handily beaten.
Yes.
So I still don't think that they're really fully in this.
Throw back to last episode when I said when you're expected to beat the pants off a team, you're expected to beat the pants off a team, and if you don't, that throws up flags. And a two-run difference on Canada is not enough.
Yeah, there are a lot of red flags for the U.S. right now. I mean, there were 2 guys that got in the game last night that don't have a hit. I mean, Byron Buxton's not really a starter, but Cal Raleigh does not have a hit through all these first few games of the tournament. So I think it's a little concerning. Bryce Harper is also batting 150. And, Aaron Judge is only hitting 263 right now, although he's obviously been a lot more respectable than most of the lineup. But I don't think the Italy game was that humbling wake-up call that it should have been for the U.S., and I really think they're doomed. I think the Dominicans are going to handle them pretty easily and move on to the final.
Hear me out. All those players that are underperforming just show up, and suddenly it's a game.
I mean, I don't have any questions if they can show up. I don't know that they care to.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's wrong with Big Dumper, Argo?
Tell us your thoughts on your boy.
Okay, so he's not playing well. That's separate from what I was gonna say about it. So the whole drama with him right now is that he did not during the game against Mexico, he did not fist bump Randy Arozarena. And then in the most recent game, I didn't see any clips of it or anything, but I believe he did not fist bump Josh Naylor.
No, yeah, Josh Naylor also tried to handshake and he refused.
Yeah.
And now, what are we talking about? A handshake for what? Like a home? Well, he didn't.
No, like he was he was coming up to bat. And because their teammates on the Mariners, they were trying to get fist bumps from him because they're teammates. Uh-huh. But Cal just did not respond, did not give a fist bump or anything.
Sounds like you left them hanging, which that's a pretty big bro sin right there.
It is. However, here's my hot take. I don't see anything wrong with it from Cal.
Why?
I understand that they're teammates. In this tournament, they are not teammates. And I kind of take Cal's stance in that this is a competitive thing. They're there to play. Unfortunately, the U.S. isn't really playing, but so I guess my argument is kind of weaker now, considering that the U.S. just hasn't been playing well and they're not really in it. But being there to play and it's like if you, in my mind, let's say you were playing like game one of a playoff game in the MLB, right? Uh-huh. And you come up to bat and the catcher behind you is somebody you played with for several years, or maybe you had played with before on a previous team, and you reach out for a fist bump. As the catcher, do you do that fist bump? It's a playoff game. Like you need to be locked in.
I think argument is it's more about the relationship, because I can understand being locked in, and your argument is, unlike everybody else in the Team USA, Cal Raleigh's actually locked in. He's trying.
Okay, well, so
I mean,
my argument's
that hard.
My argument's weaker considering that the U.S. is not doing well, but that's still just my general argument for this.
Okay. Well, I get it.
I mean, I just think it's a sign of respect. Like, I get being locked in, but like for you to disrespect your teammate like that and put out the performance that they've been putting out, that doesn't stack up for me. I mean, if the U.S. does what they're predicting they're going to do tomorrow, the baseball world is going to clown them, and rightfully so. I mean,
I will join.
I don't know. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been since what, 20...
I believe 20... The last WBC was 2023.
So it's been 3 years. You kind of expect the United States to be in the finals. They are in the semifinal game. Yeah. So they're going to, no matter what, finish fourth or better. But
yeah, I mean, anything can happen. Like, they're not guaranteed to lose to the Dominican Republic. There's a reason they play the games, but I am not optimistic right now.
Thinking these guys just want to call an early exit, say, "Hey, we made it to the top 4. Now let's go home and get ready for the regular season."
I think they're cooked.
I
think the worst part is, like, they just don't care at all. Like, is the WBC on the same level as like Olympic hockey? No, but like,
well, I don't know.
I'd go as far as to not care at all.
Winning the WBC still is not going to be as important as winning the World Series by any stretch.
No, and I don't expect it to be, but like, take some pride in it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not a huge patriotic America kind of guy, but like, it's baseball, man. Why are you on Team USA if you don't care about playing for Team USA?
I agree. I mean, I am 1,000% more towards, and this is kind of what this whole conversation's come back to, is if you're gonna be in this WBC, your whole focus as a team should be to win it all. And if it's anything less than that, if you're okay with just getting to the semifinals, saying, hey, we're top 4, and then exiting early, then you don't, honestly, Team USA shouldn't play. Some other team that actually freaking wanted to do it should be in there trying at least. You know what I mean? That because if you're not winning, if you're not going for it all, and again, we've had early exits because people want to go back into spring training and get with their teams, and clearly they're not playing the best that they possibly could be. And I mean, I've heard some names. No, I think no offense, I don't think Kyle Schwarber's a world-class player. He's decent, but is he a guy, if you had a pick from all of MLB, is he a guy in a position that I would put on my team? No, there's people way above him. So seeing that makes me wonder, like, even again, other players do get to go and play for other teams, even though they are in the MLB and they're not just going to immediately be on Team USA, you know. But I don't know. It's just the team from the get-go, some of the names I heard, I was like, that's not our best. That's not our best. They're not playing like our best, and they're not playing, it looks like, to win the whole damn thing.
I would argue Kyle Schwarber should be there, personally.
You think so? Out of everybody?
He's batting .375 right now in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber might be this year's Captain America.
That's crazy.
It was David Wright for a while, but
maybe I just have a little bit of hate for former Cubs player.
I mean, he's a current Philly, so obviously I don't like that. But like, I would be lying if I didn't enjoy watching Kyle Schwarber stepping up to the plate and making ball go far.
See, like, I'm not a fan of Aaron Judge, but if I see Aaron Judge playing for Team USA and he hits a home run for Team USA, I'm a fan of that. Like, I hate Aaron Judge otherwise, but if he's playing for a team that, you know, that I'm rooting for, then yeah, I'm an Aaron Judge fan.
Of course.
I mean, I just got very lucky this year with USA Hockey and watching my boy Jack Hughes score the golden goal, you know, because the Devils kind of suck this year, but at least I get to celebrate a Devils player scoring the golden goal.
Right.
See, that's the thing for me, and this is what I'm trying to say, is his average was only a 240 last year. It was 248 the year before, a 197 in 2023. Like, I don't think Kyle Schwarber's that good. Yeah, he can hit a long ball, but
I mean, by the modern definition, like I believe he's averaging under 2 WAR a season, and I think at least a big chunk of that is from, you know, not playing the field. But at the same time, like, yeah, okay, he only hit 240 last year, but he had an on-base percentage of 365 and an OPS of 928, both of which are very, very good. So, you know, and I think that's part of the argument is, you know, like, I would take Kyle Schwarber hitting 240 but hitting 56 home runs and still getting on base, you know, 36% of the time, as opposed to a guy like Luis Arias who, okay, he'll hit, you know, 320, but he's not going to walk, he's not going to hit home runs, and even though he does play defense, unlike Kyle Schwarber, he isn't very good at that. So, you know, I don't want to go, I don't know if we want to go on a complete other tangent about how statistics are viewed currently, but I mean, there's a reason that OPS is kind of overtaken average as the end all be all of, is this guy a good hitter or not?
Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah. Same. You could say the same thing about Cal Raleigh, of course, because last season he, you know, broke records of the most home runs, or huge amount of home runs.
Yeah, I think he only hit like 260 or something like that. 264, I want to say.
He didn't have a crazy batting average. He had a 247.
Oh, that's even lower than I thought. I thought he was a bit higher.
But he had 60 home runs, so like, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he also walked a good chunk too. I mean, he walked almost 100 times last year. Oh, well, also, you know, he wasn't an outstanding defender, but he was still a serviceable defender at one of the most, if not the most important defensive position on the diamond at this point.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Seattle's pitching staff was also really good, which I think at least part of that goes back to him as the guy who calls it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see it. But
yeah, I didn't mean to take us down that whole tangent, but there is, if guys can hit 180 at this point, but if they're adding 35 bombs on top of that and walking a lot, they're still a very valuable hitter.
Yeah, I guess the walks would make a big difference there too.
Yeah.
I mean, is a walk really any different than a single?
No, not at all.
Just doesn't show up in the average.
Maybe other than maybe if you have a guy in scoring position, a walk is going to draw them in unless the bases are loaded. But on base percentage, same as average. Tells the whole story.
That comes with the territory of hitting like 60, 70 bombs a year, where you hopefully do see more walks because, if you are only batting like 220, 230, but all it takes is one of those pitches that you find, one of those at bats, because you're hopefully seeing 3 to 4 at bats at minimum a game. That means, and one of those is going to be a home run. That's a full ass run, and that's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, if you're if you're hitting 50 plus home runs a season, you're basically homering in every third game.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Schwarber, for example, last year led the National League in home runs, led all of baseball with 132 RBIs. Even though RBI is a bit of an overrated stat, it's definitely not the end all be all. But
I disagree.
When he drove in, I mean, okay, so is are RBIs important? Yes, but do they give a fair glimpse into a player's offensive prowess? Not necessarily, because
it's not for the individual player. It actually shows team management better. Because
I can agree with that.
Getting that guy in the right position where he's hitting those home runs where there's a couple men on base, there's your extra RBIs. That's huge for a team. So that's not more about Kyle's doing the right thing. It's more about the team was doing a good thing there.
I agree, but also at the same time, I mean, the Phillies won 96 games last year. They were the second best team in the National League. If Kyle Schwarber had been on like the Marlins or something, or a team that was below 500, obviously his RBI total is going to be lower because the players around him are worse. So, I mean, if Kyle Schwarber could have still hit 56 home runs, but had, 10, 20, 30 less RBIs because other guys in front of him were not getting on base.
Yeah.
So, there's been a lot there, the nuance around certain stats and certain analytics in baseball has evolved over time. And I think it's important. And, I think there's more than one good way to build a team. It's a good conversation to have. It doesn't come down to one stat determining whether or not a player is good. Because I mean, if you've been anywhere on baseball social media over the last several years, Luis Arias, hot topic. There people will argue up and down about how valuable he actually is. And I don't want to diminish him hitting 340 over the course of a whole season, but when that's all he's doing is hitting for average, I would take a guy that only hits 280 but is providing more power and is better defensively. It's a no-brainer to me.
Well, I think that again comes down to team management at that point, because if you got a guy hitting 340, he's absolutely getting on base at least once a game. You really want to see him get at least a walk a game as well, because that would really make you a solid player at that point. And then you just got to manage it. You got to figure out where you're getting this guy, because if he's going to be on base, that's when you do get the guy behind him like Schwarber, who's going to fucking smash a home run and get that 2-run bomb on. Stuff like that.
I mean, like it comes down to 2024 Luis Arias. he won a batting title. He hit 314. Or even, you know what? Let's go back to 2023, since that's kind of the year that comes to mind for everyone when he hit 354 with the Marlins.
God.
I'm not going to completely diminish that and act like it's worthless, but he only walked 35 times that season. A guy who had the best batting average in baseball by a pretty wide margin only had one more WAR than a guy who played the same amount of games as him roughly in Kyle Schwarber, but doesn't play the field and only hit 2024 Kyle Schwarber last year was only one more behind him. He only hit 248, like 100 plus points lower than what Luis Arias did the year before, and was still more valuable offensively.
See, that's crazy. Again, I think that comes down to bad management at that point.
I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, as a manager, you're given the roster you're given. I mean, there's a reason the Marlins made that one playoff appearance in 2023 and immediately fell off. They are not a well-run team. They never really have that great of a roster. And when they do have good players, when they had, rest in peace, Jose Fernandez, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and they currently have, a guy who not that long ago won the Cy Young in Sandy Alcantara, had some other solid players recently, but I mean, it's bad management on the part of the front office, but like as a manager, you manage the team you're given. So, And I think it's worth noting again that, Luis Arias, only drove in, 46 runs in 2024 and was only worth a single WAR despite winning a batting title. OPS is definitely more important than just pure average at this point. Like, it tells the full story, because I don't care if you're only hitting singles and if you're hitting 318, but you're only hitting singles. I'm going to take the guy who's hitting 280, but hitting for some more pop and, doesn't need runners to be in scoring position to drive them in. He either just puts himself in scoring position or hits it over the fence and brings runs in that way.
Well, I was going to say, because you have a 340 average, you're not going to have... I arguably think you should still have a really good RBI on that if your team manages well and puts you in the right batting lineup, or like in that batting order. But you're also going to have more runs in general then, because hopefully they've got the guys behind you getting you home. But then again, that comes down to what's the team actually look like, and if there's that opportunity or not. Because if you're the only guy batting well, then you're just kind of screwed. You're out on an island. You can't do the whole thing yourself. Well, unless, again, that's when it comes down to the guys that are popping, 40 to 60 homers a year. They are at least getting something done because they're just hitting yard. But
yeah, and I mean, I do think there's some merit to, I can understand being a little hesitant about a guy that's sure he's hitting a decent chunk of home runs, but he's also striking out a lot and leaving a lot of runners on base that way. So, but I mean,
that's
again,
a whole
Kyle
other factor too,
Schwarber
absolutely.
And guys in that kind of phenotype that are not only hitting a lot of home runs, but they're just getting on base a lot in general too. I mean, Kyle Schwarber the last 3 seasons has gotten over 100 walks, and so he's struck out a lot, but he still has good plate discipline and he's able to get on base by taking his walks too.
I will say that is another big thing, is when you see like 60 home runs but only 80 RBIs or something silly like that, you start asking questions like, what is this guy doing when people are on base? What is his clutch factor? And that's a major difference too.
Yeah.
Somebody who can go up and hit a solo shot but can't hit the grand slam when they get the presented opportunity, that's something you got to pay attention to.
I mean, I got to say, like, if you have 60 home runs and your RBI total is that low, that's not your fault. That's the team around you. I mean, you can't control how many guys are on base. If you're hitting 60 home runs, like, you're going to, like, odds are that at least, 15, 20 of those are going to be 3-run, 2-run home runs at least. Even a couple grand slams in there. It's not that hitter's fault if he's hitting 60 home runs but not able to drive guys in. That's just not how that happens.
I want people in the comments to let's see what their opinions are. It'd be great. I don't like seeing a 240 batting average though. I know, but man, I want to see at least 260. Yeah. I do 240. Like, I understand it's different. I understand he's producing, but man, it just feels bad.
I'm more than happy to see Cal hitting 247 if he's hitting 60 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, if he's hitting 247 and not hitting for pop and not also drawing walks, then yeah, like that's not a very valuable player. But that's the whole argument in favor of OPS is that it does tell the more complete story that just looking at batting average or even just looking at on-base percentage doesn't tell.
Baseball is fun.
I do want to reel us back.
Baseball is fun.
I do want to reel us back into World Baseball Classic because there's a topic that I wanted to bring up earlier, and then we got on the whole Kyle Schwarber tangent.
I'm good at making tangents. Hey, we have an hour to fill.
Me too.
Yeah, we do. I want to get you guys' opinion on this because I saw this on social media a little bit ago. Because the United States and other teams, mostly present in the United States, with players like Tariq Skubal, who are leaving after just playing 1 or 2 games. How would you guys feel if instead of having the World Baseball Classic take place in the during spring training, why not have it just happen immediately following the World Series?
So I think there's some merit to that. I think if we're going to move it, I might even say like it'd probably be better to do it like similar to how Olympic hockey is at this point,
with an all-star break.
And since you're only doing it every 3 years, give it like a couple weeks break. I think that would be the way to do it. Because right after the World Series, guys just played 162 games. And it's not like basketball. Basketball, when they have the Olympics, you have a solid couple months in between when the finals end. And when you're going to, a couple years, they'll be going to Los Angeles for the Olympics. They'll have a couple months off in between. So I think if you did it around, like an all-star break or whatever, you'd have got, the part of the reason guys are leaving early from Team USA or so they can go to spring training and get themselves ramped up for the actual season. Whereas, if you have it just in the middle of the regular season, guys are already ramped up and guys can make fair decisions on whether or not they want to participate for the whole tournament or not. I think do the same thing that the NHL did with the Four Nations tournament or the Olympics, where there's just a couple weeks break in the middle of the season. I think that's a much easier way to do it.
I think, in my opinion, while I think that would definitely be better than having it during spring training, I think having it post the actual season, in my opinion, would be better and keep players staying there longer. And actually keeping them playing instead of going back to their teams early. The risk of injury is, I think, my biggest idea on it.
Fair.
Because I know that some players maybe might not want to play in the World Baseball Classic and go hard in this in risk of, being injured for the season. So if you have it after the whole season's over, then there's still the risk of getting hurt, of course. There's always a risk of getting hurt when playing. But then that injury has a lower likelihood of affecting your chances of playing in the next MLB season, since there is still multiple months in between.
Yeah. I mean, the counter argument to that, though, is I think there are going to be a lot of guys that will choose not to play because, again, you just had this long haul of a season.
Right.
You started spring training in February. if you're on a team that gets to the World Series, there's a chance you're playing into November.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, after 9 months of playing baseball, I don't really think that there are too many guys. I mean, and maybe the participation will be similar, but I think participation will be even less than it is currently if you have it right after the World Series.
That was exactly what I was gonna say, Drewski. I was gonna say
maybe the other alternative. I mean, you're having it in warm weather cities anyway. Maybe take like a month off after and just do it in December or something. I don't know. I don't really think there's a perfect time to do it, but I know postseason is not it.
I had never thought about that, but I was just thinking, I really don't think there's a perfect time because you can't do it in the middle of the season. You can't do like a 2-week break to do it like, the All-Star break turns into like a 2-week break or something. That would be about the only thing I could think of. But then you still wouldn't want to do that because you're mid-season. What if you get injured playing the WBC? Like the teams aren't just going to let that happen. At the end of the season, these guys are playing 162 games minimum. Then the teams that go into October, like you said, they want to go home for a couple of months,
Right.
So nobody's gonna sign up. So Team USA will never ever have the best of the best. It's gonna be just people that I guess really I guess the people that do show up really want to be there, but
they sure aren't acting like it.
Well, in this case they would, because right now it's kind of if you're not in the WBC, you're going back home and starting your regular season anyways. So that's why it's kind of like for them right now. The people that would be showing up at the end of a season WBC, if it got moved to November or whatnot, those people would most likely be there because they want to go rep Team USA and do their best. But again, I agree. I think it would eliminate a ton of people because especially if you just want a World Series, the fuck you want to go to WBC? No, you want to celebrate, party, and enjoy your family. Like shit.
Right.
And arguably, that if you're winning a World Series, you should be on the WBC team or close to it. Not everybody, obviously, on the rosters is like the best of the best in their position, but I was just thinking about it. I don't think there's a good way to do it. I just think it's more of a culture thing with Team USA that they need to sit down and say, hey, if you're going to show up, you're showing up to win, not, well, at least I have the regular season when I get back home. Like, no nonchalant shit. Because, 5-3 Canada. Come on. Schwarber could have put the 5 up by himself. Even though I'm talking shit about him. But yeah, Italy is. What if Venezuela wins against Japan and then Italy gets to beat Venezuela to go to the finals?
That's some ultimate sicko baseball shit. I am here for it.
I'm kind of good. Like, obviously, I want USA to make the finals, so I kind of want the upset for US to beat Dominican. And then just let Italy come in. At that point, I don't care if we win or lose. I would like to see the USA win.
If Italy gets to the final, I would root for Italy because that's just the funniest possible outcome at this point.
Absolutely.
It's a great story either way, because if Italy were to play the United States in the finals, Italy has the storyline of you underestimated us and we put belt to ass over and over and we owned you in this WBC. And then the USA would have the story of you beat our ass and we learned from it and came back and got you. So it's a great storyline for both. I wouldn't be upset if either team lost or won. I think it would be fun either way. That's the beauty of
absolute cinema.
It's the beauty of me not being locked into a not needing, like, not loving or being a straight up USA simp.
I'm with you.
So it'd be cool, but well, I guess the finals are looking like the Dominican, probably Dominican Japan, could be Dominican Italy, is what we're kind of thinking.
I mean, they play the games for a reason. I'm not going to completely count out the US, but my current prediction is that it will be Dominicans versus Japan in the final. But let's see how this goes. I mean, we're gonna be doing next week's episode 5 days from now. Hopefully, we'll do it on our regular Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally cannot wait to see how this turns out. We'll be a couple days removed from the final. I would love to see if we're right or not. And I think if we're all in agreement on the Dominicans winning it, I think we're right.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there.
I was really hoping for the. So that's the thing is, I was really hoping for the USA Japan rematch, but with how the USA is playing, it's kind of like I don't want to see that because I think you're just gonna give it to Japan at that point. But that's the difference here. I guess what would change my mind is if the USA plays Dominican and they just kick their ass. If it's like
USA needs to go belt to ass on the Dominicans for me to have any faith in them against Japan.
If like they barely destroy the Dominican,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
But so we're just you got this Argo, but when you said we don't support sports betting, I almost said, yeah, Shohei.
Oh,
I was gonna call it out. I was like,
free eBay.
You can cut that out, but
I'm not cutting that. I'm not cutting that.
Oh
no, please leave that in.
I don't know if we want to get
the world needs to know the truth. I was gonna say next thing I'm gonna be framed for betting illegal sports betting. That'll be fun.
Yosh in jail.
Is it illegal?
I mean, if that happens, look, I'm gonna say like if that happens, and Shohei Ohtani frames me for sports betting, I just want to say that that's really cool. Because that means Shohei Ohtani listens to our podcast.
True, so true.
That'd be hilarious.
So
look, Ma.
I think we are coming up on the end here, but I do have one more feel-good story to talk about that I mentioned a little bit ago that I wanted to talk about on this episode, which is Ondřej Satoria. That man is a legend.
My God.
That man is a legend.
Explain this to me because I was asking a little bit about it and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Ondřej Satoria, he is a starting pitcher for Czechia. And Czechia, as we know, they went 0-4 this tournament. They will not be back in the next World Baseball Classic. But Czechia as a team, I think, is probably one of the best stories in the World Baseball Classic as far as the players go, because none of these players are professionals. None of the players on Czechia are actually professional players. They all have like full-time jobs outside of baseball. They just do it for fun, and they were able to make it to the World Baseball Classic, which is incredible. And the last World Baseball Classic, Ondřej Satoria, starting pitcher for Czechia, became a legend in Japan. And not really a legend in Czechia, which I thought was kind of funny because I guess they don't really care too much about the World Baseball Classic except for the team itself. But he became a legend in Japan because he struck out Shohei Ohtani in 3 pitches in Japan in the last World Baseball Classic, which is just crazy considering that he is a full-time electrician and his fastball like barely reaches 80 miles an hour.
That's what you were telling me. I was like, a fastball that hits 80.
Yes, he is hitting.
You said he
80.
throws a changeup, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes,
is a changeup?
And his changeup is nasty, and he struck him out on the changeup.
60 was it 65?
I don't know what the speed was on it, but he struck him out with the changeup on the third pitch, and it was like in the dirt and made him swing, which is crazy. And he ended up getting applause from the Japanese crowd after that because obviously they weren't going to win that game. And then this year, it was Japan versus Czechia in both the teams' 4th games in the in their pool play. So Japan had pulled a lot of their starters because they were already confirmed to be the winner of their bracket, and they were confident they could beat Czechia with their backup players, which they did. They beat them pretty handily, if I remember correctly. But Czechia started Ondřej. And he threw 4 2/3 scoreless against Japan. Unfortunately, he did not get to pitch into Shohei. They benched Shohei for that game. But it would have been cinema to have them go up against each other again, and it was really wholesome at the very end, or when he was getting pulled, because it's his last time ever pitching for Team Czechia. I believe either he's retiring for baseball or something, but also Czechia won't be back in the next one, or isn't confirmed to be back in the next one because they didn't win a game.
Yeah. They would have to get an invite, right?
Yeah, they'd have to qualify again. Because if you win a single game in the World Baseball Classic, you automatically qualify for the next one. So,
Brazil and also Nicaragua are going to have to fight for that, huh?
Yeah, because they didn't win. So they have to fight to get a spot again for the next season. But Ondřej got a standing ovation from the Japanese crowd because they just love him there after all that. So, yeah, really wholesome story. He's one of my goats. Full-time electrician who struck out Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean,
hell yeah.
I love the fact that, because the conversation comes down to, again, like, do you need a pitcher that throws 96, 97 that then has a backup like splitter or changeup or some sort of curveball, like good off speed to change your eye level and all that stuff? Or do you just got a man that goes out there, throws 80, throws like probably a high 60 changeup? Like,
yeah.
it's like, it's so unconventional. It's, oh god, I actually compared this to Rocket League when I heard about this. Where like some of the higher ranking players in Rocket League will struggle in lower ranks, like plat or diamond, because everything's inconsistent. People are whiffing not because they're like trying to whiff, they're doing it because they suck.
Yeah.
And the people don't know how to read that because they're not predicting that to happen. In their lobbies, that doesn't happen. So suddenly they don't know how to react to the shit, and somehow they lose a game, you know? So kind of like in this sense, it's like, it's so unconventional. You kind of see this with position players when they're put on the mound in like completely lopsided games, where it's like you've got those 60-mile-an-hour eephus balls.
There'll randomly be a guy that, like a position player, that just has a 0 ERA for his career.
Yeah,
because he made actual major league hitters look foolish because they're just not used to seeing that.
Almost gets an immaculate inning off of 3 pitches because they're just quick ground outs or pop outs, you know?
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? But it's
well,
the thing is, like, you're not used to
9 strikes, but yeah.
Right. Oh, you're right. But you don't I thought immaculate was 3 pitches, 3 outs, because it's the least amount of, it's like the most efficient inning possible.
Is that a perfect inning?
Yeah, immaculate inning is 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches.
Oh, my bad. I was thinking the most efficient, the 3 strike.
I mean, obviously, most efficient is 3 outs on 3 pitches. Like, that's still. I don't know the exact statistics on that, but it's pretty rare. I mean, I know for a fact that like an immaculate inning is rarer than a no hitter. Like, it's about. It is very impressive, and you know, like, I mean, sure, it's not going to go down in the same memory as like a perfect game, or you know, hitting 4 home runs in a game, but you know, it is still extremely rare. Yeah. I mean,
I tried looking up what 3 pitches, 3 outs would be called. Because someone asked on Reddit if
is there actually a term for that?
Someone asked on Reddit if 9 pitches, 9 strikes is an immaculate inning. What's 3 pitches, 3 outs? And the top reply is me batting in the show.
A ground out.
I think they just, from what I'm seeing, it's like just people calling like a 3-pitch inning or something. It's not really anything special.
I'd argue that it is. I mean, again, a lot of it's chance.
It's
because
still cool. I mean, it's
all 3 guys are swinging on the first pitch is what's happening.
That usually does not happen.
I was gonna say, if somebody all one of them has to do is just take a strike or take a ball, and you're already out of that. But I think that's what makes it more rare. Obviously, is it's not just the pitcher being good, but it's also all 3 batters decided to go for it. Chat, comments, if you know or you have a good name for 3 outs on 3 pitches, let's hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear some names for it.
If you really want to get some sicko shit, technically, a 1-pitch 3-out inning is possible if you intentionally walk the first 2 and then get a triple play.
Yes, because we don't have to actually throw the pitches to intentionally walk people anymore.
That's true, yeah.
So you could just you would be the most asshole team skipper ever. Like, we're intentionally walking these 3 people. Then a triple play happens on the next pitch.
I mean, can you imagine imagine being the manager that makes that call? It's like, okay, like on the Yankees 2 years ago when they had Judge and Soto in the same lineup, you're like, all right, we're gonna walk Soto, we're gonna walk Judge, and then you're just gonna try and get I guess Giancarlo Stanton would have probably been after them. He probably would have been the 4-hole guy. He'd be like, all right, we're going to intentionally walk them, and you're just going to get Giancarlo Stanton to hit and do a triple play. But imagine doing that as a manager and having it work out.
More likely than not, you're just going to there's going to be a 3-run bomb off of that.
Yeah, that's a very, very bad strategy. If you are a major league manager and you're listening to this podcast, don't do that.
If you're a major league manager listening to this podcast, why are you listening to this podcast? Why are you taking advice from us?
Who's the closet furry in MLB? That's what I would want to know.
Oh my God, what is this?
I mean, the odds are there's been at least one, like either as a player, coach, whatever. Like there has to be at least one.
I would say baseball culture kind of pulls you away from like actual being a professional baseball player. Culture is gonna, because obviously you're a huge furry, Drewski, but I feel like the actual.
What do you mean huge furry?
Yeah, you're big.
We all are.
What is? Okay, I was like, what?
Furry.
I'm like, are you calling me fat?
You're the guy. No, you're the guy. I meant you're the guy that's taking furries to games, man. You're doing.
I mean, but like, no, my counterpoint to that argument is, there's probably more neurodivergence in baseball than any other sport.
That is
true.
Do with that information what you will.
But I'm not 100% certain. And then when you break it down, when it comes to how many skippers are managing, like that's not too many out there. And I think we're not quite there yet. I could see there not being a furry yet. I think when we're starting to get like another 15, 20 years down the road, you start seeing these 40, 50-year-old my generation furries that they were baseball players turned they're managing the clubhouse. There's a possibility then, but I think they're just a little bit more removed right now. But it's kind of a cool thought. What's the secret? Who's the hidden furry?
It might be more likely than you think, because I know that Drewski was part of an interview on Jersey Tales with a D1 basketball player that's a furry.
Yes, and I can confirm there is at least one Division I basketball player who is a furry.
Yeah, and so I feel like if there's one in basketball, which I feel like basketball is probably just between basketball and baseball, which culture do you think would be harder to foster being a furry?
I mean, again, like I said with baseball, I think there's just a lot of guys in baseball who are neurodivergent. And as the same with the furry community, there's a lot of neurodivergence.
Yeah, it's like a Venn diagram. Not everybody neurodivergent is going to be a furry, but there's a overlap there. It's interesting thought. I don't know. If anybody knows, please God tell us in the comments.
Out somebody as a furry in the comments right now.
Because I will say it's really weird how like baseball obviously had that big like progressive when it came to like desegregating and starting, like obviously it was a big ass thing, but to an extent the sport has been progressive at times, but it when it comes to playing it, not just being a fan of the sport but actually being in it, playing it professionally, it just feels like they don't either have the time to go be a furry, or the culture of the sports, both I'd say football, basketball, and I'd say about almost any sport to be real, isn't quite there.
Yeah.
And I definitely know it's not supported, because I feel like if suddenly an NBA player was like, yeah, I'm a furry, I have a fursuit, they're gonna get shit on for no reason, and they're just not gonna do that. So
for sure. I do want to ask our viewers a question. Which MLB player is most likely to be a furry? And you cannot answer Kutch. You cannot say Andrew McCutcheon.
We're taking him out of the equation because I think that's a given.
The closest, just because Home Dog did good during Anthrocon.
The last one he played in, he actually unfortunately didn't do very well, but
because he was playing against the Mets, specifically the 2024 Mets, that just had all kinds of bullshit going for them.
All right, I unfortunately do need to call this episode here. I am getting dinner with family tonight, so
awesome.
I will be calling this here.
Lovely evening.
Thank you.
Yes, and
I thank you guys for listening to the Untitled Furry Baseball Podcast. Let us know what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thank you for listening.
Spring is in the air.
Spring is in the air.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.